How do we help students inside and outside the classrooms?
We strive for that concept of universal design.
Universal design really has to do with access for anyone, whether you have a disability or not. In terms of physical access, it's being able to get into a building, it's being able to have a chair that you can use and not having to ask for a special chair. It's not having to ask for a special table because you happen to be in a wheelchair. Universal design also applies to information and learning.
What's fair? Is fair everybody getting the same thing? I don't think so. I think fair is the idea that people get what they need, and people don't need the same thing.
Something might work for some students, something might not work for another student.
We look at each person as an individual and figure out what works for that person. For example, maybe you need to tape record your lecture. Maybe you need to sit in front of the class. You need to have priority seating.
With that, I was able to seat in a location which is in front of the classroom, closest to the door, made it a lot easier so when people get out, I don't get tumbled down with everybody trying to get out.
This is the Department of Accommodation Services in the Office of Special Services. If you're a student and you're eligible for test accommodations, this is where you would come to take your exams.
If you're a slow processor, you have a little difficulty reading, you have spatial difficulties, you might need extra time to take your exams, and we'll arrange to have your tests taken here so you can take it in a relatively quiet environment and have the extra time that you need.
There's only 10 minutes left in the test and you're still not halfway through it, and you're rushing and you're seeing all these other kids leave quicker than you. It just takes me a little longer to do things, and this place provides that for me.
Somebody who has an attention deficit might get very disturbed by a sound or a movement next to them. It could be somebody fiddling with papers. It could be somebody's cell phone going off, even on vibrate. It can be someone talking in the next room, or tapping with their pen, or tapping their foot. It can be anything.
I was receiving testing accommodations and where I would be placed alone in a room with reduced distractions.
My name is Alfredo Quispe. I'm the Senior Sign Language Interpreter Coordinator for here at Los Angeles City College. My responsibilities are to provide sign language interpreter services to all deaf and hard of hearing students. We provide simultaneous communication between the deaf and hard of hearing student when the teacher is lecturing. The sign language interpreter will sit in the classroom, and our students, and we sign everything that actually the teacher or any another student in the class is saying.
They give you the tools to use on your own to become independent so you don't have to completely rely on people. I'm a music major. I've been able to bring in those music things that I have to visualize, and I can use the big CCTVs they have there, which is really helpful. I can set it to a reverse contrast, zoom in as big as I need.
Some of our students are in the tutoring center. Our tutors are trained to work with students who have disabilities, and the tutors themselves will focus on the strengths that the students have.
My tutors were really helpful in terms of accommodating me. They actually wrote really big and really clear, and they actually tried to find the best way to work with me so I could understand them, and they didn't rest till they were 100% comfortable that I'll do well on my classes.
Through this program here, I did use one of the tutors for math. He dedicated his time and found different ways to show me how to grasp the different problems. There were times where I was ready to give up, and because of my tutor, he would not let me give up and say, let's do one more problem, one more problem.
Once that accommodation is authorized, they get that accommodation. That's not negotiable. How it's given is negotiable.
We never, ever ask an instructor to lower their academic standards.
So this isn't about something special anymore. It's really about leveling the playing field. And that's what we're trying to do with our students here.